Ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Dean. You're listening to the Purple Rain podcast here on Podcast Juice. Joining me today is Mr. Big, Sexy, and Sack. Sir, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing well.
I love it. There you go. Who's draws? Anyway, also joining me. Well, see, after I said that, I can't say the person's name I wanted to say because it don't look right.
No.
So we'll just go with Ampu. Sir, how are you?
I don't even know what the look right was about, but I'm doing good. A little stressed, but gonna get it right.
It's like a little stress, but don't get it right. Also joining us is Kanisa. How are you?
I'm good. Thinking about some crab legs I'm about to have in like 30 minutes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Crab legs. There we go. Well, we are talking about the third minute in the movie Purple Rain. And, of course, this is the podcast where we watch the movie Purple Rain 1 minute at a time. And we are now at the 3-minute mark. And there's a lot going on here. And where it picks up here is Apollonia. And we left her the last minute. She was in the cab. Just kind of anticipating, like, I don't know if I can pay that bill. But then the next thing she does, Chris Rock says we need to take a couple steps forward or steps back. Well, maybe her actions are running out of the cab may have set black people back a few steps because, cabs don't like to stop for brothers nowadays. But, it's all right. She's fine. But, yeah, she ends up jumping out of that bad boy and takes off down the street in a very ratchet moment in cinematic history, I must add. But so we see that, and then we get our first glimpse of Mr. Morris E. Day in his blood red boxers and tank top,
And
with the bandana. He's vacuuming his clothes, vacuuming the floor. Excuse me.
Why is he vacuuming?
Hey,
that's tight.
Yeah,
So,
Who's gonna do
bring
it?
something
Is that-
home tonight? Sheesh.
But it's a mess, but he's vacuuming.
Hey,
That makes sense.
and keep the floor clean, for the ladies. Now, if he had Jerome over there vacuuming, that'd have been something else. But
yeah.
we get on Jerome later. But so we get our first glimpse, and it's just something funny about him right off the top. I never was that familiar with him when it came out at the time. I may have very vaguely sort of had seen him before or something, but I didn't know much about him. But just looking at it here, this guy is funny. Like, this is something funny about him. Like, even to show a guy doing that is funny to me. So I'll stop right there and just kind of get some other thoughts of what we got going. So, Kanisa, what some of your recollections?
Yeah, so as we're watching this slow time, it starts to get confusing because it's like he's performing, but then he's also getting ready. And we see people, Morris getting ready, but Prince is also driving his motorcycle through a crowd. So it's like, what exactly is happening here? What is the timeline that's happening? But sure, we'll just accept it.
Yeah, it actually does a very odd thing where it starts to show us flashbacks, essentially, which is interesting. Makes you wonder if the movie was going to start a different way, or they just say, you got to start it with the music, and then we can get them there by introducing the characters that way. But it is a little odd that it sort of flashes back. You could have actually took out the kids' stuff, and you would have just thought that they were getting ready as he was playing. And then, they get there while he's about to finish. But it doesn't necessarily change the narrative of the kid by showing him getting ready, right? Because we already kind of saw that earlier with him doing his makeup. Unless it's just kind of foreshadowing they wanted to show you his house and him coming out of that downstairs window or something. But it is kind of interesting that they would put his little segments in there. One thing that I also think is very interesting is, and we'll go back to Morris, but the part where Prince, so there's a couple things. When the camera pans to the First Avenue at the people in the crowd, again, I never paid much attention to it, but if you look at, there's a brother in a brown suit, sort of toward the end of the line. That brother's perm is clean. I don't know who that brother is, but his shit is laid the F out. It's like, damn. Like, that's a cold cat right there. And then another thing, too, I could be mistaken, but one of the people, maybe a couple people over from that guy, looks like it might be Alan Leeds. He's got the glasses, but I can't tell for sure because it's not totally in focus and it goes very quickly, but it kind of looks like him. But the other odd thing about it is it's interesting that the kid comes flying down the sidewalk, you know, and sort of everyone is like, yeah, like he's famous and stuff. Like, damn, this brother, he got his town on lock. Like, and then if you actually notice when he drives by, somebody throws glitter at him when he goes by. I always thought that was hilarious. I'm like, what is that? Like, you especially glitter, dude. But and then of course we go back to Morris. Before this, you know, Morris is this Morris is still. No, as we don't go back to Morris. We we don't see the other Morris part yet. I'm jumping ahead. But Aunt Pooh, what's your thoughts?
One, going back to Morris. It reminded me of that part in Delirious where he was saying that if you sing, you can get some pussy. Because Morris looked grimy as hell. And I'm just looking like he up there trying to be this playboy. He getting all nice and fine for the ladies. And I'm just looking like, God damn, dude look grimy as fuck. Like, how is he going to be pulling anything? That was my takeaway from that whole scene there. Had the do-rag up with the hair and the curls. I'm like, okay, so you grimy, you want to be gangster, you want to be a player, but you dainty with the hair all up in the curls. Like, come on, man. Now I get it. I was 8 at the time, so I didn't know that men did that thing with the perm and all that stuff. But to me, it just looked a little funny style. That's all I'm gonna say. Second part. Dainty. I'm sorry. My only frame of reference was my mom's and my aunts with their hair up like that because it was getting their curls up. So I see Morris. I'm looking like, what's going on here, homie? But I do you.
Well, he was representing that pimp, you know.
Dude, I was 8. I didn't know.
I know what I'm saying, but he representing that. Actually, if you look, it's interesting too. I assume those are all chicks. He's got those pictures in his mirror, Morris, all those Polaroids. And so I think that's trying to show, like, yeah, he the ladies' man. Like he's pulling me. Actually, it looks like there's a set of the bra next to his head. I actually never noticed this before, but somebody tell me that's not a bra sitting when he's looking in the mirror.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he obviously, you know, he's banging them down. You know, he's on his.
I'm not denying. I'm just remembering Eddie Murphy when he was talking about Mick Jagger being an ugly mofo, but he was getting women because he could sing, and that just reminded me of Morris because he was looking grimy in that scene. That's all I'm saying. And then the other thing was what I thought was really a nice, cool touch was when Prince rode in on a motorcycle. Yeah, I saw how everybody lost their mind, and you know, more than that, it wasn't for the film because you know, like the kid, I mean, yeah, he was a local act, but I just couldn't imagine people cheering that crazy for him, but they were cheering for Prince. But the other thing is, like, at the very end, you can see him driving by. He got that little smirk on his face, smiling like, damn, you know, I am a bad mofo. Like, yeah, they are here to see me. Just that smile. Every time I see it, I always see that smile. I'm like, it's like a part of me think that he's like, he's amazed that he got to this level.
It would have been funny as hell because, you know, you got the guitar sticking off the side if the fret would have busted somebody in the back of the head when he rolled by. Blah! Hey, motherfucker!
Get out the way next time, damn.
And of course, Apollonia. We get some more of her. She sees the hotel with the Huntington hotel. That looked like the strip right there, boy. That looked like. Now, I'm surprised Morris and them ain't just standing around out there because that looked like the Stroll neighborhood. I don't know what part of town that was, and plus how she dressed, they looking crazy. But you know, we get another shot of her, and you see she pulled that bread out the wallet, so she had money. But you know, she was like, "I'm gonna run game. I'm not paying for this cab. I got a little bit of bread. I'm new in town. You know, it's like a little flop house she about to stay at, but." You know, it sort of sets that up, and it shows that they got weekly and daily rates. So, Hotel Huntington. I'm surprised. Does anyone know where this place is at? Is this like, maybe, was it in L.A. or is that a real place in Minnesota? I'm not sure. But Big Sexy.
I'm sorry. One more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
Because you were talking about how Prince was getting ready, and somebody pointed this out to me, and I'm looking at the frame of it now. That's the part where he's leaving. He has the purple studded jacket on. That looks like the outfit that he's wearing at the end of the film, not during Let's Go Crazy. So maybe that's somewhat a flash forward.
It's probably was cut from that and they put it up to the front, right? So that's a good observation. Yeah. Yeah, he actually is. Well, he might be wearing the same pants, but it's hard to tell. But he's wearing that when he's drunk. Yeah, I guess on a motorcycle he's also wearing it too, right? Maybe that was his. Oh, he's got the same pants on actually. But you never know. You could be right. Wouldn't be surprised. Big Sexy, any closing remarks here?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, this is where you see Morris Day just bomb on the scene. And I don't mean bomb as in a bad way, because the time was coming off of what time is it? So people in the music scene knew who they were, but he hadn't really been out visually yet. And so he picks up the suit, does that little spin. Yes! We're like, okay, here we go. Here we go. Morris is about to get into it. And as a roadie, I got to throw a flag on the play, because when we roadie set up the band equipment, all the equipment is there. So coming in on your motorcycle with your Telecaster behind you, no, that doesn't happen. That's why we have guitar techs. It looked cool, get your little rock guitar god moment coming in on the bike, but in reality, no, that doesn't happen.
Alrighty, well, we are going to wrap up this minute of the Purple Rain Minute podcast again. Let me say, so I was going to say, leave us your comments. I already know my YouTube family, y'all going to leave us the comments. So go in, please. We love it. Go hard or go home. Also check us out at on Facebook, right? Prince Podcast. Also, Podcast Juice. I'm all over the place. I'm having my podcast minute. Check us out on Facebook at Podcast Juice. And of course, you can check out the website, podcastjuice.net. And as I always say, work it like a job, and we'll see you in the next minute.